Sunday night, the 9th of July 2023. This is one of my Let's Talk Skidmarks, and I feel compelled to do it because looking through the comments and looking at my mail and looking at my messages, there are certain people that are not sure what I'm talking about when I'm talking about certain things, and then there's other people that clearly indicates the groupings into which they fall. Now, the first thing that I need to explain is if I refer to the Sasa generation, I don't refer to all the young blacks born after 1994. I don't refer to all of them. I specifically refer to those that grew up fatherless. Those that were born from mothers that is not married and who did it only for the Sasa grant. So you were born not out of a bond between a husband and a wife and in a caring family. You were born for the grant. So you basically represents an income stream that in brutal language reduces you to a commodity. And I have explained the reason why the XXX started that Sasa breeding program. And there is Skidmarks done on it. A specific one that I did on Sasa generation were bred for a purpose. So understand this. You fall in the Sasa generation that I refer to if you have grown up without or growing up or living currently without a father. Why is that important? It is important because it is the fathers that will install in you the cultural realities of your tribe. Your problem is you are growing up without that cultural influence, without that cultural input, without a man that can guide you through that. So you are growing up divorced from your culture, which in essence divorces you from your tribe. And that is exactly what Klaus Schwab and his gang promotes. They want the destruction of family. They need that. Okay, daar kakkie butter. Fuck! And then on top of all this shit that we have to deal with in this country, you've got this ridiculous fuck up with the electricity. Nobody, none of us, my age group people, ever expected to spend our old age like this. And this is part and parcel of the big problem that we have here in South Africa. This. Everything is collapsing. Absolutely everything. And the Sasa generation, they are the people that sit on the social media and stir social, let me call it social unrest. They stir it. They have no recollection of a state and a society that was functioning. They never saw Baragwanath Hospital functional. They never saw it. They never saw a Home Affairs office functional. They just didn't see it. So their references is all skewed by shit that the politicians are feeding them. And they feed them these things almost without any conscience. Because they don't care about the Sasa generation. The Sasa generation was bred for a purpose. and I'll get to your purpose. I have handled your purpose in the Skidmarks I did. But the reality is that this is one of the things that I talk about. And you need to understand that there's no racism involved in here. Just cold, realistic facts. Something that you don't want to hear. That is something that you're not used to. The truth is alien to you. All you get is memes and short tweets, and then politicians standing on stages screaming out slogans. Look at that Cyril Ramaphosa at that Youth League conference, calling you to revolution. He's calling you to die, but you don't. You do not understand that. And then I've got messages and emails about my position on working with other races. And I've taken a lot of smoke on that, but I don't give a crap about it. The fact of the matter is, the Zululand riots and unrest showed one thing very clear. The communities that escaped the bulk of the destruction were the communities that stood together. White, brown, black. All of them stood together and they made it. In the Afrikaner communities, we've got this groupings that are, in my mind, they are isolationists. And they're isolating themselves and they want to be isolated. And I asked them many times, how are you going to survive in that isolation? Where, to start off, where is this mysterious isolation gathering point? Where is that? Where is it? Nobody can really tell me. I got some vague answers from one grouping, and they indicated the area, which is massive. And I know the area fairly well, and there's no infrastructure there. So if 100,000 people pitch up there, first of all, where are they going to sleep? Where are they going to park? Where are they going to shit? And you must understand, it's not a weekend camp. It's the rest of their lives that must happen there. So that is very impractical. Another problem that I see from discussions and messages in this is people that want to recall Siener van Rensburg. Siener said that, Siener said that, Siener said that. Man, I'm the last person to negate the reality of those people and their belief in this Siener guy. But I have a simple philosophy. You have to deal with the cards that is in your hand. Not the cards that you wish you had. Not the cards that you want to have. Not the cards that you missed. Not the cards that was played yesterday. You have to play the cards that is in your hand now and do the best with those cards that you can. That is the game that you have to play, with the cards in your hand. And then there's another group of people that depend and build their whole existence basically on the reality and existence of old documents, treaties between the Khoi and the people in the Cape, treaties between the Voortrekkers and the Zulus, treaties between the Voortrekkers and the Swazis, treaties like that. I'm not going to invalidate those things, but think about the following. The one with the Swazis covers the land from basically here from Nelspruit down to Utrecht in the northern Natal. It's a massive piece of land. And in those years, that land was basically empty. Here and there maybe roaming cattle breeder or what, but there was not towns, there were not established villages, there was nothing. Today, that area encompasses thousands of private homes, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of farms, some private farms, some commercial farms, some corporate farms. It comprises towns, big towns, government property, private property. There are people living there, millions. What are you going to do with that piece of land? First of all, if you can get the borders established, how the fuck are you going to protect those borders? Secondly, who is going to ratify that border? Who? Who will ratify that border? And then, who's going to enforce that border? So, although I take notice of these things, we come back to this place where I say, you must play the game with the cards in your hand. My business career, I had a basic principle. When things go wrong in the business, and we have that post-mortem meeting of the management, I walk into that boardroom and I sit down and I say to the guys, I only want to know about two things, just two things. First of all, how are you clearing the mess up? What are you doing to clean the mess up? And what do you know? The power is fucking back. That's the first question I ask. How are you cleaning the mess up? Then the next question I have. The next question is, and that's the most important question, what the fuck are you doing and putting in place to ensure that same shit doesn't happen again? That is all. I'm not going to sit in a boardroom and listen for hours, everyone telling me what happened and all their shit around that and how it happened and all that. Because that is history. Nothing can change it. It happened. Okay? Let's deal with the consequences. Alright, consequences handled. Let's make sure it doesn't happen again. And that is the message that I have for these people that go back to Jan van Riebeeck and Vasco da Gama and who the fuck knows where, how deep they want to go back. It seems to me some of them want to go back to 17,000 years before Christ. The reality is this. We need to deal with what we have here today. And then you get the people that come, and they come with all their predictions from the Bible. And this and that, and this guy is that. And I said one day to one guy, I said, okay, I hear what you are saying, but just give me the verse in the Bible where Putin's name is mentioned. Or give me the verse in the Bible where Xi Jinping's name is mentioned. And you and I know it doesn't exist. And then they come with their stories, but you see this crazy name standing here, that actually refers to... And I said, listen, fuck off. I'm not going to listen to that type of talk. Because what you are doing is you are giving interpretations that you cannot confirm with facts. So, that is why I have this basic principle of never debating religion. Because debates around religion leads to nowhere. And religion is such a private, personal thing that I respect the personal part of it, 100%, no exception. But we are sitting here in South Africa with a major problem. We are not in control of what's happening in the country. And on top of it all, we don't exactly know who's pulling the levers. We've got a damn good idea who's pulling the levers. And they are the real enemy. And I have said it is my opinion that Cyril's instruction was to do to South Africa what was done to the USSR. Dismantle it. Dismantle South Africa. But they cannot dismantle South Africa before all the critical and strategic assets are not in the hands of the oligarchs. And the oligarchs is all tied into the XXX gang. Don't need to explain that. So that is what Cyril must do. Now, and if you look around, our railways is gone. That railway system is gone. Everything is transported with private transportation. So that sector is out. The airline is gone. So any airplane that flies around is in private hands, oligarchs' hands. Very important is that the communication systems, Telkom doesn't have the monopoly anymore. It's been privatized to such an extent that Telkom is actually irrelevant. The final straw on the Telkom old post office saga is the collapse of the post office. You all know it's collapsing, it's gone. So those are strategic assets that the state had, but it's all now in private hands. The minerals is in private hands. The last thing of importance is Eskom, the power. And you must see Eskom in basically 2 sections, maybe 3 sections. 3 sections. Generation, which is the power stations, transmission, which is the grid, and then distribution, which is the final distributions to your house and my house and your business and whatever. Those 3 sections. Now there's already plans on the table, and there has been things now put into motion to chunk Eskom into that 3 pieces. Cyril need to privatize Eskom, but he's got a more of a problem. There's a very strong section in the ANC that is against that. They don't want Eskom privatized. They want Eskom in government control. So they are opposing him, and they've got a lot of support. So Cyril is not going to get past that hurdle easily. But here comes a clever plan. Frustrate us, the public, to our wits' end with load shedding. And then he comes on a morning and say, I've got a buyer for Eskom, this is what it will be, and load shedding will be gone. And the public will support him. So that internal resistance in the ANC is not going to count. And the moment that Eskom is privatized is the moment they're going to collapse the Republic. But they need to collapse the Republic with a colour revolution, Maidan type of thing. And for a Maidan and a colour revolution to get going, they need rioters. They need riots. What did Cyril say to you last weekend? You are the revolutionaries. And that is where the Sasa generation is going to come in. And those millions of squatters around the cities. They're going to fling those people into the meat grinder. Those are the people that are going to do the violence and riots that the government clearly cannot handle. We know they can't handle, they couldn't handle KwaZulu. They won't be able to handle that. And that is when the peacekeepers are going to step in. And then that is what the cabal wants, the XXX wants, those peacekeepers. Those peacekeepers are going to kill the people by the millions. Go and look what happened in the Middle East. Go and look what happened in Pakistan. Go and look. Look what's happening in the Ukraine. This evil XXX don't give a shit about lives. That's not important. And you, the Sasa generation, you are unfortunately going to be the cannon fodder. For me, it is sad that it's going to happen. But just look at the facts. You were bred and brought up with no cultural ties. You don't actually belong to a tribe. They did not educate you. Why must they invest in something that is going to expire? They know it's going to expire. So why invest in it? Why invest millions of rands in getting you through matric and you will expire just after matric? They're not going to do it. They are businessmen. So, look at that. No education. No prospects of ever being employed. You fall 100% within this categorization of Klaus Schwab, of a useless eater. Don't forget that. And you can be as angry as you like. If you have any capacity to think, you need to take these facts into consideration and think about it before you send that stupid tweet out on Twitter, before you make that stupid post, racist post on Facebook. Think about that. So, my message tonight, find your tribe, because that is how you're going to survive. Find your tribe. Your cultural bonds is what is going to make you survive. And never forget, we all need each other in South Africa. Isolationists, I don't believe in it. I just simply don't believe in it. First of all, because it's totally impractical. And second of all, I cannot associate myself with the blatant racism that is connected and implemented in that isolationist environment. Whether it doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is, the fight that we have is against a powerful, global, corporate might. And that corporate might has got really dangerous soldiers at their disposal. Really dangerous. Look at the shit that they unleashed on Australians during the pestilence. There was many reports of Australian people saying that they do not know those people that are in those black riot gear suits and things. They don't know those people. Where are those people from? You must ask yourself that question. This is what's going to happen in South Africa. All of a sudden, these peacekeepers are going to pop up from out of nowhere. Because the South African government doesn't have a peacekeeping force. They don't have it. The military is a fucking joke. You know it. The police is so incapable. They can't even handle the gangs on the Cape Flats. So, think about this. And don't let your brain be consumed by racism and hatred. Because that prevents you from thinking clearly about these things. And I'm saying it again to the Sasa generation. Go and find your roots. Get in your car or get in a taxi or something and go to the village in a rural area where you think you come from. Go and find old men there, men older than 50, and sit and talk to them. And listen to what they say. Don't you tell them a lot of fucking stories. Listen to what they have to tell you. Because that's one of your major problems. You don't belong to a tribe. And if you don't belong to a tribe, you are a drifter. You are a disposable. Think about that. So, to conclude, it's a rough environment in which we are. It is very dangerous. The collapse of the Republic is, in my opinion, one of Cyril's goals. That is his last task to do. And you can see that the timeline is shrinking. He's under pressure. Look at the attacks in the ANC on Paul Mashatile and on Mantashe. Mantashe is under pressure because he's resisting this fucking green idiocy. And Paul is under pressure because he is solid in the BRICS camp. The Americans want the Cape Sea route. That is what they want, nothing else. And they don't care if the whole country burns, as long as they've got the cake in it. And there's that bloody story that is now coming out of Steenhuisen making a deal with the Bezos Foundation, and he borrowed millions and millions and millions of dollars, and he gave the Cape as surety. Now, I'm not 100% sure how the fuck that works. If you've got a farm or a business or a factory or a house or what in Cape Town, how the fuck can he give your stuff as surety? I'm not sure how that works, but that is another topic. The reality is this: don't be blind. The things that are heading our way is way beyond our imagination, way beyond. And we must understand that our only saviors are us, each other. This is the saviors. Don't think they're going to come from anywhere else. Everything coming from anywhere else is here to destroy you, not to save you. Please give me a like and subscribe and share it. Thank you for your support.